Today we are looking at stroke rate. That is how many strokes you take per minute. You can also count that by how many strokes you do per length, as that is a little bit easier to measure.
Too low a stroke rate and you most likely have some dead spots in your timing, and equally too high a stroke rate, and that probably means that you're shortening your stroke and you need to think about lengthening it out.
Well, in this video we are going to be looking at the optimum stroke rate for triathletes. We're going to be having a more detailed look at Fraser and my stroke rate, and then helping you improve your own.
Stroke rate is important because it affects the rhythm and timing of your stroke, and it is directly related to the distance you take per stroke in the water.
So if you have a stroke rate that's too low, it suggests that you might well have a glide or a pause between each stroke. And doing this, you're going to be losing momentum in between. You're basically going to have to be re-accelerating after each individual stroke.
And too high a stroke rate indicates you're probably losing momentum and you're not getting good propulsion from that catch and pull phase that we're looking for at the beginning of the stroke.
So finding that optimum stroke rate is key, and it's basically a combination between your stroke rate and your distance per stroke. But it's worth bearing in mind there is no golden number. Every athlete is different. It depends what speed and distance you're swimming, and also what the water conditions are.
Now, we are triathletes after all, and that means the bulk of our swim training is done in the swimming pool, especially in those long winter months. However, the key goal races that we have are most likely going to be in the open water environment.
Yeah, now you might not find swimming in a pool particularly easy, but trust me, it is still much easier than that race situation, which, like you said, is normally open water, and you're going to be surrounded by lots of other swimmers.
However, sea swims, and in fact any open water swim with a mass start, creates these really turbulent swim conditions, and that's really not good when we've got a slow, low stroke rate, because it just means we lose our propulsion.
Yeah, well, obviously today we don't have that open water situation, but we're going to be getting in the pool and comparing our stroke rates and then looking at how we can improve. So we're going to swim 50 metres at our perceived Ironman race pace effort and count how many strokes it takes us.
Goggles on.
Here we go.
Heather's time for the 50 metres was 37 seconds, and she took 37 strokes to complete that, giving her a stroke rate of 60 strokes per minute. Mine, however, was slightly higher at 73 strokes per minute. But research has shown that elite open water swimmers do tend to have a higher stroke rate. Now, admittedly, we're not in a race environment right now, but that being said, we would hope to see a significantly higher stroke rate from Heather. So now we need to have a look at how we can improve her number. So we've got a selection of drills that is going to help Heather pick up that stroke rate.
Yeah, the first one I'm going to put some fins on because that's going to lift me a little bit higher in the water, but most importantly I'm going to be travelling faster, and therefore I have to move my arms naturally that bit faster.
And a second drill that we could have a look at is water polo drill, which means that you eliminate that glide at the front of the stroke.
Yeah, now this one I do still have a bit of a tendency to put that glide in, but I think being able to actually see where your hand's going in will help to increase the stroke rate.
It makes you think about that as well.
Yeah.
And a final drill that we would think about doing is surges off the wall, where you really swim quite hard, and again that forces you to increase your stroke rate.
So actually doing a faster stroke rate than normal, so when you do go back to swimming normally, hopefully you've got a naturally faster stroke rate than you had before. Well, I've done the 3 drills, so I'm interested to see if it's actually going to make any difference when I swim a 50 metres. So I'm going to get back in, swim at the same pace, and see if I get more strokes in the length. So it does seem that those drills have made a difference. I managed 41 strokes for that 50 metres, swimming at the same pace. And yes, it did feel like I was doing a higher stroke rate, but with more practice, it will start to feel more natural. If you are struggling to increase your stroke rate or to be aware of exactly what it is, then you can actually use a tool called a tempo trainer that simply sits on your goggles and it will beep at you every time you want your hand to enter the water.
And now as triathletes, almost all of us are striving to have an increased stroke rate, because that's going to give us that ability to cope with those turbulent conditions that you're most likely to encounter when you're in the open water environment.
Yeah, and it's not something you can simply just change overnight, so go away, work on those drills and let us know how you get on. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hit the thumb up like button if you have, and if you want to make sure you get all of our videos from GTN, just hit the globe to subscribe. And for a video looking at the difference between pool stroke and open water stroke, you can find that just here.
And for a video about 3 drills to help improve your front crawl, then you can click here.